All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you are joining this show. Of course, this is Afrique 24-hour TV. We are live on Mutembei TV, live on Leo TV, and we're also live on Afrique 24-hour. That is both pages on our Facebook handles, Twitter handles, and we're also live on the YouTube channel. So if you've not subscribed to our channels, kindly hit the subscribe button, share, and turn on the notification bell so that wherever we go live at this show, you'll always get notified. Hamjambo kwa Kenya, na karibuni sana kwenye show ya siku ya leo. Kwa wale wanaojiunga nasi kwa mara ya kwanza, ningependa kuomba kama hujajiunga nasi, yani kama hujasubscribe, kindly do so. I hope you're doing well, you're great, and everything is okay as we prepare for the season. That is December and the Christmas. People are running up here and there, and we've seen there are a lot of accidents that are taking place across the road. But I'll just urge you to be vigilant so that as you're traveling or you're moving from wherever you're going to, you ensure that you're careful on the road so that you don't lose your lives and the lives of your loved ones. You know, we've really gone through a lot from January, and now we are nearing the end of 2025. So it will really be sad to terminate our beautiful lives at this particular moment. So I can see Eliaza Zariel Rosafi. Rosafi, karibu sana kwenye show ya leo. I know a lot has happened. This is our 60 minutes wrap where we try to wrap up what has happened in Kenyan politics. You know, there is this controversial story behind the death of former minister, that is Cyrus Jirongo. We've had some report from the DCI, and of course, it's connecting it with the accident that was caused by the bus. The people were still not believing that story. The people were still asking some unanswered questions concerning that. And of course, today we also saw the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. We saw Fred Gumo. And at some point, they tend to have disagreed when Rigathi Gachagua tried to connect or tried to ask some questions concerning the current speaker, Moses Wetangula, claiming that Moses Wetangula is among the people who were last seen with the Jirongo before the fatal accident that took away his life. I'll play for your video response from Fred Gumo responding to Gachagua. And of course, if you go to Nyanza, something is happening in Migori. Today is the second day of Piny Luo Festival. Linus Omondi, if you want to join me in studio so that you can be able to have the discussion, I'm sharing the link on the comment section. So use that link, and then you'll join the studio and we'll be able to have this conversation. Karibu sana, Linus. Is it Linus or Linus or Linus? Mike Jotham, I can see you. Karibu sana. Josie Osomo, Legend, Papa, Matano Tosa, Nimrod Mwangi, Tumaini Azizi, Mugambo wa Magambo, and who else? Guys, keep on liking, subscribing, and sharing this live show with your friends. And if you want to join me in the studio, you can also do so. You can also do so using the link that I've just shared right away. So I'll play for you that video. Otieno Paul Oguna, I can see you're present. Where are you joining from? Karibu Baba. A lot is happening. I was trying to tell you that there is Piny Luo Festival. Today was the second day, and the festival, I think this is the fourth edition, if I'm not wrong. I stand to be corrected, since it was started, and it has been moving across the 4 Luo Nyanza counties, that is Kisumu, Siaya, Migori, and Homa Bay. We had the last edition held in Siaya. Of course, it was a really great. The one that was held in Siaya, my friend, I'm telling you, it was hitting. Though people claim that this one that has been held in Migori was not much publicized, but it has happened. You know, Migori County is a county that is led by Governor Dr. Ochilo Mbogo Ayako. So a lot has happened. Of course, when they go to this, as much as they are discussing things to do with the Luo culture, Luo tradition, and Luo celebrations, politics is also part of it, because you know politics is part of our social life, and we saw different speakers giving different views, specifically as as far as the broad-based thing is concerned. We had James Jirongo yesterday speaking fiercely and warning the Luo community and ODM at large that they've been having this kind of arrangements since time immemorial, since the arrangements that Raila had with the boy, Kibaki, Uhuru, and now Ruto. And he said Luos and the ODM ends up being shortchanged. So he pleaded with his community and his party not to blindly say Ruto term Nibili, or to support Ruto without a proper and a candid agreement. James Rengo just called for some agreement whereby people need to sit down and make some binding agreement, so that in the near future people don't cry that you see we were played, or we see this and that happened. So that is what is taking place there. Of course, we've also seen speakers like Gladys Wanga, the ODM party leader Oburu Odinga, affirming their support to the broad-based government and support to William Ruto. So these are some of the things that we are going to look at as we wrap these 60 minutes of political updates. Silas Ramogi, you shared the name of a community is live from Ratanga, Diwa. I know you are a few kilometers away from Migori. I don't know if you managed to attend. Gudia, karibu sana, I can see you. Happy to see you too. Eliud Z is also following from Kasarani, and Otieno Polo Guna present. Lina Zomolo, karibu, I can see you. I hope if you can be able to turn on your camera, I'll really be grateful, so that we can proceed with this conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to wrap up what has been taking place. There are discussions of the broad-based government, of course, and the meeting in Migori is going to sum it up, because that is the opportunity that the members of ODM, majority of them comes from the parts of Nyanza, and this is an opportunity for them to share the platforms or the podiums as you saw them doing today. So from that, it tells you that they'll be able to engage, and they have those ones with different opinions. There are those who support this, and there are those who are still opposed. There are those who still feel that there is a lot that needs to be done, so that they can be able to support William Ruto without any doubt of being shortchanged. So we are going to look into that, and this team that is opposed to supporting Ruto blindly. Let me use the word blindly in quotes, because I don't know whether it is blindly it is their own opinion. Now we have a team that is led by Otiende Amolo, who said that he's not opposed to broad-based government, but he claims that this was an agreement between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, and Raila is no more. So what they ought to have done is to go back to the negotiation table and negotiate afresh. They need to go back and say that, okay, you made an agreement with Raila. Raila is not there. Now, let us negotiate afresh, so that as we move forward knowing what is in this kind of arrangement. We saw Simba Arati, Governor Kisii, who is the deputy party leader ODM was in Gishu yesterday, and he was really welcomed well. The ground is good, and from the look of things, the people was in Gishu were seen to have embraced ODM, something that made some people start speculating that maybe in 2027, ODM might force William Ruto to contest on an ODM party. We also saw the deputy party No, sorry, the chairman, national chairperson of ODM, that is Gladys Wanga, the governor of Homa Bay, who is also rumored to be eyeing the deputy president seat. Back to Nairobi, I want to play for you a video. You know, people have been associating one Moses Wetangula with the tragic death of Cyrus Jirongo, and people have been saying when J.M. Karaoke was allegedly assassinated, he was called by his kingsmen, and the next day, J.M. Karaoke was no more. So they are saying Wetangula was taking some uji, not the normal porridge. You know, this uji is a term that was introduced by Baba Uhuru Kenyatta. So he was taking some uji with Jirongo. Then the next day, Jirongo was found somewhere that has been claiming that he has been run on. So today, Fred Gumo was on defense defending Wetangula, and I'll play for you the video so that you can be able to follow. And you know, this is some news that was being speculated majorly by the members of the United Opposition. Thank you so much. I can see Dr. Lena's Oko is already in the house. Greetings, brother. Can you hear me? I know you're still connecting as you are connecting. Oh, great.
Yes. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope you're good this evening.
Yes, I'm very okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to look at what is happening in our country. And from today, yesterday, there have been so many attacks directed to the current Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, that he was the last person seen with Cyrus Jirongo, that he should be at a position to know what transpired. I remember the DCI released the report, and they are trying to connect the accident, just as it was reported that there was a head of collision with the Climax bus and the Jirongo's car. And the people have been saying that this one, things are not adding up. And today, even the former deputy president claimed that one Moses Wetangula should be at a position to tell us where Jirongo is or what happened to Jirongo. And if I remember some of the words that he used, he said that when J.M. Karaoke was assassinated, he was called by his kinsmen, and the next day Karaoke was no more. So they've really been pressuring Wetangula to tell us what happened to Jirongo. But there's a video play here later where Gumo said that it is true. Jirongo and Wetangula had a meeting at Karen that evening, but after 1 hour, 30 minutes or so, Wetangula, because he was having some duties the next day, decided to leave early. So what transpired later after that, because he left Jirongo with some other friends, and of course he said they were not looking at each other. They were taking some porridge. So as we even welcome Brother Benson, Dr. Lenas, what do you have to say on that? People have given their opinions, actually. People are saying, oh, no, what happens, when somebody dies, there are normally some conspiracy theories. People try to explain. Some say, no, this guy was killed somewhere and the body ferried to Naivasha. Remember when Raila died, they also say that, Raila died somewhere in Kenya and was ferried to India and such kind of stories. So what do you take of this kind of information that we're having? People speculating because they're not given the right information, or people just meant to speculate?
In fact, so many things are not making sense. Because even me, I'm even worried that, this bus carried more than 50 people, that were traveling. As per the news that I've just heard today is that Climax decided to, give them an alternative bus to ferry them. Okay, how comes even right now, there is no one that has even said anything that, we were in that bus that was involved in accident? And then why is it that this driver was the first person even to comment on this thing? He was saying that there was jam. and he's like, this other side of the road was blocked, and this guy didn't know that the bus was coming this side. Then is when we met him head on. A lot of things is not making sense, and I know this speculation can only stop when right investigation is done and good information is stable to the people, is when this speculation will just stop.
You're saying Kenyans are speculating because right or accurate information is not given. I'll get back to you later, maybe to try to understand what or who might be interested in the life of the former minister. Remember, as at now, the last time I checked, Jirongo was not vying for any political seat. He wasn't
Mm.
in actively in politics. And if the last activity that he was doing that maybe will bring him closer to politics, what is a podcast, I think he's having some channel that he's been hosting several politicians, and they're just making some stories and trying to reflect back the old days when he was a politician. Let me welcome Brother Benson. Maybe he can also give us his opening remarks and his views. Based on the speculations that we're having surrounding the death of former powerful cabinet minister, the man who had a note named after him. So whenever you said Jirongo in the shop, they knew you are talking of 500 shilling note.
Yeah, thank you so much. And let me take this opportunity to say hi to Dr. I think this is the first time I'm meeting him on this platform. I tend to agree with what the doctor is saying because what usually happens, the information is not adding up. Before even speculating that somebody might have caused his death, but the information is not adding up. Me and you agree that the era we are today is the era of camera. You cannot tell me out of 65 members, the passengers that were in the bus, nobody had a camera. And remember, this is somebody from Western, and the population that is usually traveling based on the location where the bus was coming from or going to, he might have carried or was sparing the passengers who are the son of the soil, and nobody do not know Jirongo. So you want to tell me that all those people did not have even a phone to capture what has happened after they are told that that is a Jirongo? That is one. Secondly, you will agree with me that in a busy highway, if accident of such magnitude happens, I tend to believe as the behaviors of Kenyans. Kenyans, we have this behavior that nobody else have it. We usually go to the scene of accident, not run away from it. Even if there's a shootout, we will not run away from the scene of the shootout. We will
I,
always
I, I agree with you. Kenyans are so funny. If today there's a bomb blast, instead of people running away from it, they'll run towards it. And this one, normally, we've had cases of people getting attacked in the second blast rather than the
yeah,
first one.
yeah, you are told in the case of for safety reason, if you see a bomb somewhere, if it is a bomb blast, one thing that you have to be prepared of, there must be a second or the third one. So the best way is to run away from the scene. But our character traits has always shown that we want to witness and get the first information. We don't want somebody to tell us. So in the event that it happened in a highway, I tend to believe our Kenya brothers and sisters who are driving on the other side could have stopped and take a picture and send it to the social media, because we're in a social media era. But that is something that did not happen. So when you try to connect those dots and this era, that one raises that speculation before even you say so. So that is one thing. Something also you've said that Jirongo was not involved so much active in politics. He was very active in politics because he has a political party. Maybe he was not much so much in public, but he was into politics. And even talking about the podcast that he usually runs, I think he did run it for a few, then handed it over to somebody who was running it. But I think he was having those political negotiation behind the doors or behind the curtains. So he was very active, but quietly active, not publicly.
Get you, Brother Ben. Of course, those are the questions that even so many Kenyans are asking such questions, not only the family members. There's one interesting point that you brought up, that this is a bus that ferries over 60 people. It got an accident. No single photo, no single video was taken. We know what happens in Kenya. Right now, even if there's a small fire, there'll be video everywhere, in TikTok, in Facebook, and like just the day after that, there was an accident that involved, was it Easy Coach on the way to Kisumu, and even before the media could reach the ground, it was all over TikTok. But this one seemed to have been a special case. But now we've had the report from the forensic report from the DCI, and they're using some footage from the CCTV cameras. So what do you think the government is trying to hide, or what interest is the government is having in this kind of death?
That's for Daktari or for me?
No, let me start with Daktari. Why? Because of course all the blames, the arrows are pointing at the government. Yeah. So why would the government be interested? Of course, you try to tell us, okay, he's having a political party. That is true, and we are just a year to the next general election. So what interest is the government having that maybe Jirongo might be standing along their way? I also heard some rumors, not yet confirmed, that Jirongo had planned to launch a book. So does it mean that our democracy has not yet matured to a point that we take maybe some criticism positively, or we don't have that energy, or we don't have the courage maybe to stand our critics? We have to terminate them or do away with them. Dr. Linus, what does this one speak of our democracy and maybe the future of our politicians? You might be interested in running for a political post, and you might be running on a party that is against the government in power, or you might be running against individuals. So what does this one portray? Are the individuals who are opposed to you going to get ways of terminating you, or is this one not affecting our democracy? Daktari, you can just unmute. As you unmute, I can see Sir Alex Ogenga. Alex Ogenga, karibu sana, long time brother. Ivan Sodino is saying, without Papa Waroma, guilt always flies before the evidence of the forensic. So those are some of the comments that are coming from the people. As Daktari is trying to unmute, allow me just to play a short video just to respond to the issue of Papa Waroma over there.
Thank you very much for coming to mourn with us. As you have said, Jirongo ni mtu ambaye alikuwa amejulikana sana na kila mtu katika Kenya, na watu wengi walistuka vile alifariki. Hata sisi tumestuka. Na yale mambo mama mnauliza ni mambo ambayo kila mtu anauliza, sio maneno mapya. Kila mtu anauliza hayo maneno. Kila mtu ambaye amekuja hapa anauliza. Kuna jambo moja tu ambayo lazima niseme, ambayo Bwana Gachagua amesema about the speaker. Speaker tumekuwa hapa naye, ilikuwa jana, is it? Was it yesterday? Sunday. Tulikuwa na speaker hapa Sunday. Mimi nikiwa kwa kiti, mimi nilimuuliza, Bwana Speaker, wewe ndio ulikuwa na Jirongo last, hebu tuambie what happened. Na kweli Bwana Speaker alituambia walikuwa wamesikizana kukutana na Bwana Jirongo kule Karen saa 2 ya usiku. Na kweli walikutana pale saa 2 ya usiku, wakakaa pamoja, mpaka saa 3:30. Of course hawawezi kukaa tu wakae wakiangaliana, pengine alikuwa anakunywa uji. Sasa ilipofika saa 3:30, spika akasema, tafadhali, kesho niko na kazi mingi asubuhi, wacha mimi niondoke. Kwa hivyo spika aliondoka pale saa 3:30. Jirongo alibaki pale na marafiki wengine wawili nafikiri, na mwenye hoteli hapo pia alikuwako. Wakakaa mpaka karibu saa 3:30. Sasa wakawachana saa 3:30, karibu saa 5:30. Saa 5 Mheshimiwa Khaniri alimpigia Jirongo simu, wakaongea, akamuuliza bado uko pale? Sema ndio. Wewe sasa tafadhali nenda nyumbani. Jirongo akasema I'm leaving in a very short time. Basi baadaye akatoka pale, akaingia kwa gari yake, alikuwa peke yake, akaenda kukuja hapa. Sasa yale alifanyika hapo katikati na Karen na hapa ama Naivasha ama Nakuru, kwa maana hatujui. Unajua ukitoka upande ule unaweza kutoka hata Kakamega, kwa hatukujui alikuwa anatoka wapi, but he was now coming from the opposite direction. Hiyo sasa hatujui, hiyo tu peke yake ndio tunauliza. Lakini wale isipokuwa ni mmoja tulikuwa tunauliza, mwenye hoteli ambaye alikuwa anakaa naye alikuwa amesema atakuja hapa. Wewe ndio tulikuwa tunataka kuuliza what happened. Lakini speaker made it very clear, he told us walikuwa naye for at least, was it 1.5 hours, 2 hours or 2 hours, walikaa pamoja 2 hours, na akatuambia, na akamwacha pale akaenda. Kwa hivyo hayo ndio mambo ambayo kila mtu anauliza, lakini kesho.
Okay, that is Fred Gumo, the former MP Westlands, of course. He's also among the Luhya elders. You know, we have the Luhya Council of Elders, among the Luhya Council of Elders. So he's among the close friends of Jirongo. And just as you people said, you know, there's no way a bus that is traveling to Western can be able to collide with somebody of Jirongo's caliber, and no one even bothers to take a photo or a video, or even to tell people that, you see, we've seen Jirongo and such kind of things. So, Dr. Linus, I don't know if you're back. Already, Gumbo have said Wetangula was with him but left him, so he can't be maybe responsible at that time. What do you have to say, Brother Ben?
You know, what happens is that what Gumo said on the Speaker of National Assembly, you know, is true. Because like Jirongo also was a politician, you never know whether they were discussing the issue to, you know, politics. But you know, one very funny part, especially with issues like this, is that you will find that majority of people will be mentioning Speaker's name just because he was the first person to be seen last with, and being that he's a very prominent person, you know. But we to me, I would take this approach. Let's wait and see what the investigative agencies are going, the report they're going to come out with. But my interest, my keen interest would be the driver, especially of that Climax bus, because remember, when you look at our matatu industry, even those, the drivers should always have the uniforms. You know, they are quite said. He did not even have it. So there are so many things that is adding up. So my reference point could be the driver. And remember also, I don't know whether you've involved yourself in accident. I happen to have involved myself in a car accident, you know, especially when I was driving, and the impact from the airbag, you know, comes and hit your eyes. It is numb usually. And even if there's no impact, I do not think that you can have the stable mind and immediately go to the press. You know, let's
Actually, Once you get an accident,
Yeah.
even if you are not, and this is the driver, you're the one who was driving the car, you
Mhm.
can't even have the consciousness to
Yeah.
face the press and narrate exactly what
Exactly.
happens. Because if indeed you are a driver and you are able to see this person driving from the petrol station, you ought to have had some restrictions or controlled yourself so that you
Yeah.
avoid that. So it's an accident because you did not see this person coming. You just,
Yeah.
I get
So
you.
So my point of reference would be the driver could be having more information about what happened, so he can tell the public the truth. That should be our reference point. And another thing also that I'm still questioning is about the airbag of the other car. Mercedes Benz is not just any other car. This is not any other car. The safety features of Mercedes Benz are better as compared to some of the cars that the normals, the Axio and the Wish that we usually drive on these roads. You cannot compare Mercedes Benz with that. But as I said earlier, my friend, we are here to give opinion, and let's give the investigative authority an opportunity to come and convince and take away those doubts from Kenyans, what they are asking. If they if they will come out with a very good report, it will check all those dots that Kenyans are asking. If they don't come out with those dots, so those speculations are going to be there. And another thing also that usually happens in our country is something of this sort. When it happens, um, at some point I feel it will lose the direction, because it's going to be politicized. The politics is going to take the center stage. Then we are going to lose the track of this. Then the next thing there's something that is going to happen, and we forget everything. Yeah, remember, like the other day the court has just made saying that the IPOA has not provided the videos for Ojuang's murder. But now, who talks about the case of Ojuang right now? That is a forgotten case.
I think the case of Juang is a forgotten case, and people talk of new things. And these
Yeah.
things happen, and after some time, people forget about it. And even this issue of Jirongo, I don't think after his burial, maybe the
Mhm.
family members are the ones that are going to follow. The media will have shifted the focus. The discussions on the death will be normal, and
Yeah.
I think we are used to a system whereby the system have also understood the kind of the people they are dealing with. They know you'll have to give it focus for some 2 3 days, and if it is not ending, then something else will have to come in between that will
Mhm.
have to change the focus.
Yeah.
Unlike the death of Raila, that is something that maybe some people are still talking of, despite even the sister that passing and everything. People have not yet forgotten that. So I think that is what is happening. Like right now, people are going for the festives. We are having the Pinulo, whatever. We heard a story of some grenade or some explosives being found around Migori just a
Mhm.
day ahead of Ruto's visit, and such kind of things are also happening. So allow me to welcome Alex Media. Alex, karibu sana. It's been long. I don't understand what you're saying. Hesbon Alcoblo should be introduced back, and maybe we also can debate on that, the issue of the Alcoblo. But again, Benson, I said that Jirongo and drunk drinking is not a new thing. I will remember sometimes in 2015, he was found sleeping while he was driving his Range Rover around Museum Hill, and a
Mhm.
motorist who was just a good Samaritan who found the car parked and somebody was sleeping and the engine was still on, who went to check on him. He suddenly woke up and shot at the car, actually, though the guy did not die, but he shot at the car 3 times. So they're saying he's used to drink driving. Then another question that people are also asking, somebody like Jirongo, why would he drive himself? Doesn't he have a driver? or this one also calls for the government, don't we have some retirement benefits for these people who've served as ministers or cabinet secretaries, just drivers and the bodyguard? Because Jirongo is not just a normal person like you. You can drive yourself from Nairobi to Homa Bay to Kisumu and everywhere. But Jirongo driving himself at that wee hour, and you know very well he was drinking. These were not some kind of recklessness among the leaders?
No, let me tell you, there are quite a number of leaders who usually, especially when they are within their neighborhoods, it is not very obvious that they will have somebody who is driving them around. And each and every leader has a way of life that they lead. And maybe to me, I think like he's one of those leaders who maybe if you're going for business, you want to go by yourself, you want that time that you want to separate yourself from your workers, at least to enjoy that moment. So that one could be. But talking about drinking, the other day I had somebody talking about the same, and he said that he's one person that if he's kind of like amelemewa, he will park the car and sleep. He's one person that will not always drive that long, because it's not the first time that he's doing that. But anyway, as I said earlier, the speculations are going to be there, but those boxes are still ticked. I said, let the relevant authorities come and give a report that will be satisfying both to the family and even to the Kenyan public at large. Because at the end of the day, you know that at the end of the day, you will find that the pointing finger will be at the government. Government is usually like this big agency. If something happened to somebody who is very prominent, the government has to be named. If it was somebody like me, it could have been very easy. They could say, okay, let's. But somebody like Jirongo.
But I think in any responsible country, the government should be blamed, even if it is you, because it is the responsibility of the government to provide security. And at that point, the government also need to answer the questions, because immediately an accident happens, the report is made, accident cannot happen, and the passengers are cleared, transferred to another car without ensuring that they've undergone through maybe some medical checkups. What if you are transferring people to another bus, people with injuries, so that they go and get injured, and things to do with insurance and all those kind of things? I think that is why Kenyans are speculating. We are speculating simply because the government is not responsive enough to give us some convincing information. Driving, Alex is saying that even his father had no drive at all, and we know Alex's father was one of the most powerful goosey politicians in those days, and actually he was among the most powerful politicians during the Moi era.
I know government would ask for any person who is involved in accident, but also it depends the stratification of life. Where are you? How known are you? But those dots, they need to be connected well, so that people could get answers. Yeah, that's what I think.
Brother Benson, away from that, of course, that is one of the issues that are making top of the discussions in the country. There's something that has been happening for the last 3-4 days. I know I want us to go to Migori, where we are having a Piniluo festival. I think this is the 4th edition, if I'm not wrong. And this is an initiative, the 5th edition, of course. It's an initiative that was started by the late Raila Amolo Odinga. And it is the 5th edition that is being done in the absence of the Prime Minister, when people are fighting to replace him, when his party, the party that he left being deputized by Governor Simba Arati, you saw him in Gusii, being deputized by Sharif Nasir and Governor Ososi. Almost everybody wants to run with a piece of it, and he also left at a point when his community, the Luo community, who believe that he left them in the broad-based government, also not sure of whom they should follow as their kingpin or their leader. And they're having a Pini Luo festival, a festival that brings all the Luos across the entire world as they celebrate their culture, their politics, discuss the economy and their social activities. So a lot has been happening, and the platform is going to bring all these Luo politicians, and you've heard them speaking different languages. We've heard that group that is being vocalized by my governor, James Orengo, a group that believe that ODM should not rush into supporting Ruto's re-election, claiming that the agreement was between Ruto and Raila, and now in the absence of Raila, people should go back to the table and renegotiate, something that he really insisted and begged his community and ODM party yesterday and warned them against supporting Ruto's re-election without a proper documentation and agreement. I don't know how he's going to maybe respond or maybe behave tomorrow that they're going to have the same platform with William Ruto himself. We've listened to Tiende Amolo when he broke his silence and said that he's not against the broad-based government, but he's just fearing that supporting Ruto without proper structures is cheapening the votes and maybe the value of the Luo votes that has always been there. We're also having a group that is led by Gladys Wanga, the ODM party leader, Oburu, and people like Kopio Wadai and John Badi, who are fully in the broad-based government and are saying that there's nothing we can do until 2032 is when ODM can be able to organize itself. Also, another group of the young Turks who believe that they need to have an overhaul and a takeover, the ones led by Babu Wino, Winnie Odinga, Sifuna, and the Hamisis. And before we even get to there, the ODM succession politics and the Luo politics, something happened. There's this famous blogger, Maverick. Maverick is known for her. She has got some tea, and she never gives a positive tea, of course. Her tea is always negative.
Yeah.
She posted something, of course, that touched on the personality of Mama Ida Odinga. And since she's working close with Babu Owino, some people have decided to directly attack Babu Owino. They're saying they don't want to attack Maverick, they want to attack the owner. And we thought that Babu is going to come out and maybe associate himself with Maverick and maybe apologize, but he did do that. He indeed affirmed his close relationship and supported Maverick's independence and freedom of speech. So, what do you take of that? And how is it going to affect Babu's future in politics?
Anything in politics, especially if you are a competitor or you are in a competition, any of your weakness point, somebody will use your weakness point to bring you down. Being that Maverick is close to Babu Owino and the tea that he's serving people each and every day, especially touching on Minipin, that to me, to Babu, it kind of like a big blow to him, because even if you deassociate yourself and say that, okay, that was his own opinion, your political competitors are not going to agree with it, because that is now your weakest moment right now, and they will use that also to get political mileage on it. But sometimes I tend not to comment so much because Mama Ida is somebody that at least is respected, and also at the moment when she was printing this, we know Mama Ida is still mourning. I know there's a work, but sometimes she can reduce on that, or if he believes in Babu Owino's leadership, at least Babu Owino should at least tone her down and say that, okay, on this, please don't do that. If Babu Owino has those powers, but I saw in one of her posts that she's kind of like independent on her comments. So that is there. But now let's come to what is happening in Rongo University about the Luo. This is the fifth one, and this is happening without.
Just before you get to that, I just want a minute to clarify something to Goodyear. Goodyear is asking how many festivals do the Luos have? Because not long ago, they had Luo Festival in Nairobi. So, Goodyear, I think Luos have got so many, there are festivals that are in calendar and there are celebrations that are maybe driven by the feelings and the occasions. And the Luo Festival is an annual celebration that is normally done annually across the four Luo counties. So it keeps on rotating. Last year, it was celebrated in Siaya. And this is a festival that brings together Luos from across the world. Like last year, we were able to see Luos from Uganda, Luos from Sudan, Luos from Congo, Luos from Tanzania. So they come and it's a week festival that is full of activities, their competitions, their cultural exchange, and there are also some economic engagements and some kind of political dispensations that are taking place. So it is different with the Luo festival. Those are music festivals that are normally organized to celebrate the Luo music, and majorly they're organized in major towns like Kisumu and Nairobi. And you even forgot that there was also Gor Mahia. Whenever Gor Mahia is playing, it is also a Luo affair. It is also some kind of festival. So don't confuse these ones. So you can proceed, Brother Benson.
Okay, and maybe just to add on what you've said, because I think our good friend might be looking the one that is going to happen in Kisumu on 20th, that is organized by Jalango. That is just a festival because it doesn't bring out the Luo culture, because when there's a Luo festival, it entails so many things, including the food. It entails including those structures that were owned by Luo. There's a lot, and it encompasses everyone. But Luo Festival, if you are very keen, my friend, you would see there's some of the fans also are complaining about some other musicians have not been added on the list. But like when you come to the one that is happening in Rongo, it is inclusive. There's nobody who is excluded. Everybody should be there. So that is the quite much different between what is happening with the Luo festival that is happening. And if you look at the Luo festival that is happening,
Benson,
it's more of business.
oh, yeah, of course. And there's somebody, Agustin Mwalimu, is saying that we are misleading, that Babu did distance himself from the statements. So maybe you can just make a clarity if you
Yeah,
if you did read the information. Huh?
No, he did. He did yesterday. If you're very keen, and it was even trending on the Twitter page. If you're very keen, he did distance himself from it. He did. If you check on it, you will
But as
see
a
it.
student of literature, I think you understand something called inference. So when you infer, there is an implied meaning, and
Yeah, that is true. But also at somebody who is in the personality or a media personality, you give what is in the public domain. I cannot interpret what Babu might be saying, but I'm taking in what I saw he did. So that's saying I'm not supporting anyone, but I'm just giving my reference based on what I saw. I'm reporting.
all right, all right, all right, all right. So you can now proceed and take us. I know Migori is neighboring your home county, and anything that happens in
No,
Migori touches you guys. Huh?
My parents come from Migori, and I was born in Migori but raised in Kisumu. So I'm somebody who's sharing two counties. So both Kisumu and
I get
Migori are like my hometowns. Yeah, Migori nikiwa kidogo, Kisumu sasa tukiwa shule kabisa mpaka tukakuwa hivi nikiapo Kisumu. So that is the difference. But Migori is my hometown. So what is happening in Migori? We saw quite a number of views, especially coming from James Orengo, Tienda Mbolo, and all the leaders. Something that we have to agree is one, when we're talking about ODM, is that until right now, I don't think that ODM members have made up their mind on what they want to do. or what they want to take their followers, because there are those who are for broad-based government and those who are not for broad-based government. But to me, what I would give them piece of advice, especially, when you get into agreement, the agreement that the president and the late prime minister got into agreement, there were two gentlemen. There were principles, in that agreement. One of the principle is not around, or one of the principal has departed. He's not coming, and he will not be coming anytime soon. He's gone. But I think for ODM to get the value of their party, they should go for a renegotiation, because this is politics. If you look at how ODM came into broad-based government, it came through so many issues. First of all, we are talking about Gen Z. That was one. Another one, they came to stabilize the government. After stabilization of the government that they claimed, the experts, then there was idea of 10-point agenda that was put in place that was supposed to be actualized. And to be truthful, what we know is that the agreement was supposed to run up to 2027. Then after 2027, what next? And their staying in the broad-based government was also held with the 10-point agenda, the enforcement of NADCO report on how it can be implemented, talk about the compensation of the victims and all them. But are they going really to compensate the victims, or are they going to work on the NADCO report? Yes, I think they should reevaluate for them to get their value, because at the end of the day, this is what will happen. Because I do not think that ODM are just sitting pretty without even solidifying their base. You can attest to me right now. Raymond Omolo is very influential right now in the.
Actually, we are going to get into that, because there's a
Yeah.
situation whereby there are
Yeah.
some wars whereby they feel like they need to go as ODM.
Yeah.
And there is also a feeling that there are some group that feel that they need to give Ruto access to the voters, so that Ruto will have to come on his own rather than keep negotiating. I want you to hold there. I want to welcome Bwana Alex. I know. Okay,
Let me
can
just,
continue.
before you bring in Alex, Alex has a very good, the other time you were with him on the show, Alex can give you that explanation. He gave that explanation in a way that I was not thinking about it. So I think he's at a better place to give it more than I can do.
Yeah. So I get you, Alex. I hope you've gotten somewhere and parked. I don't know if driving and talking is legalized where you are. So, brother, I can see. Oh, wait a minute. You've come with restore, return, and renew. And I don't know if you've also joined our brother Matiangi. You'll tell us no later. Karibu, brother.
Leo, it's nice.
Yes.
It's nice to see you after a long time. It's a memory that reminds me the fight we had while you were in Uganda in the trenches. But every night we came aboard to fight Ruto, but in the end we were skinned alive. Some of us went into hiding, but you took longer in hiding.
You want to say it? No, no. Sometimes it depends with maybe the impact of being skinned. Those people who maybe had some lighter maybe injuries would take a faster time to heal and maybe get back. But if the injuries were deep, you have to take longer to get back, or else you come and still get the pain, get wounded.
Yeah, our involvement and our emotional investment was deep, and I think we were hurt. We were hurt. Anybody who believes he was not hurt, or he was not really hurt, or is not hurt until today, they were not in the movement. I heard Robert say something yesterday, and I was actually laughing. I even went to my wardrobe to see my suit, my blue suit. And actually, I wore that blue suit when Baba died and when he was being laid down. So, in honor. And when Martha also went to visit the Raila family, I wore that suit. When Matiang'i went there, I wore that suit. So, you know, there are internal emblems remaining, physical and also emotional, within us because of the emotional investments we made. Let me chip in quickly because I was in the middle of something.
All right.
Only the sad part of the current situation of ODM is they have colonized it. And they didn't know that the reason why everybody came for ODM to help existing governments was because it was a national treasure. And we keep on saying that is the biggest party north of Limpopo and so on and so forth. It's not just a joke. ODM was not even a party, it's a movement. I echo what Winnie Odinga said, that ODM is a movement. It started out of a movement, and now that we had vested and bestowed the right to speak for that party to one man over the years, it is time for us to go back to the people and ask them which way forward. And I think we have been failed by the current crop of leaders because they don't see the value unto which we have within the ODM. Now, even when Baba went out of ODM, out of Azimio and was supporting Ruto, some of us were extremely mad. But our allegiance to ODM and Baba was eternal, despite the disappointments. That is why we mourned the death of our hero, because we have come way too far for us to have specifically decided that we are going to divorce like that. Now, if you look at the current situation of ODM, we are not talking ODM as a national party anymore. Every time the issue of ODM comes in, you will hear speak of Kaluma, Wanga, Orengo, Anyang' Nyong'o, not even Sifuna. The sad part of it is we have localized ODM, a party that was not even national, was regional. We were forming alliances with parties across the continent. But now what has happened is, we are forming alliance with Ruto only, not even with other like-minded people. So the future of ODM is, I think so far the way I see is ODM does not exist anymore. As Winnie said, ODM is in part functional during the day. At night, it's somebody's wife. And that's the sad part of it. So if we keep on lying to ourselves that ODM is in existence, that's a lie. I mean, the day you saw...
But wait a minute, Alex. Yesterday I saw the national chairperson, that is Gladys Wanga, and the deputy party leader, Simba Arati, was in Gishu, and it was like they were trying to rejuvenate and maybe revive that old ODM spirit that was felt in the valleys. So what do you take on that?
The moment you say the name ODM and Gladys Wanga, it's like you're saying, what can I say? Which example can I say so that you can understand? It's like you're saying Hitler and Israel, that they were in America negotiating. So, who cares about Gladys Wanga? I mean, who thinks she's even the chair lady? I mean, it's just a position. There is no role she plays there. Gladys Wanga is one person who is more dysfunctional and who operates in fear after the death of Father Baba, because she knows very well. It's just a position she's holding, but her voice is nothing at all. In fact, where she goes, she messes up. Nobody really cares about Gladys Wanga. In fact, In fact, if they knew, they would have taken Gladys Wanga off that seat long time ago. Maybe it could have resuscitated the image of ODM, because that woman's rhetoric after Baba died alone has really messed everything. Even you can agree. I think she should shut up her mouth. And even
Actually, one thing I'll agree with you. One character of Gladys Wanga, when you look at her, she appears to be more inferior. She is fighting some imaginary war. She picks wars with Dr. Raymond Omolo. She picks wars with some section of ODM members. And if you look at the way she managed the by-election in Kasipul, at some point, she was even publicly saying that, you see, how can UDA come and campaign the president and such kind of thing. So I think she's somehow insecure and so confused and such kind of thing. So at that
Gladys
point, I agree
Wanga,
with you.
Gladys Wanga was a beneficiary of a system to reward women so that they can empower themselves. But she refused to up her reward so that she can become a person of her own. If you look at Milia Diambo, in spite and despite that she has not become a governor, but you can look at her and see leadership. You can look at her that somebody who can still win an election without Baba. You can look at her and see that she can go across the country with all her bad girlness and still convince people that ODM is formidable. But who is Gladys Wanga? I mean, let's be honest. You're a Luo, and let's be open here. Even within Luo Nyanza themselves, I think she has embarrassed the leadership of the women to the core. And those are some of the things that if you're not going to root out, you are going to be treated suspiciously, that this is how Luos are. And obviously, she doesn't represent the Luos. And let me tell you, in part and respect into that, even the county of Homa Bay itself, the sexual scandals that she has had, and the allegation, I mean, it's not once, it's not twice. Receipts have been given. All these
Alex, you're now becoming another maverick.
No, it's not Maverick. She finally she had to fire. No, don't even compare me with Maverick. These are not just things that we are preempting. These are things actually. She even ended up firing her chief of staff because it came as allegation. I mean, it became so bad that even the issue of her husband that we didn't want to arise at that particular time, it ended up coming in. The husband commented about it, unfortunately. And, for a man to come and start, when Shabesh's husband finally commented about the photo of Shabesh and Sonko, you remember those things. Things started getting ugly. So we are not just talking. And the way she behaved when Ongondo Were died, okay? And how she behaved when Ojuang died during the by-election. I mean, that woman does not show leadership. She's a goon, man. That's a goon par excellence.
So what do you think is the way forward? There are people who believe that if you look at
my mic is warning me. Let me go and come back. My StreamYard mic is warning me.
Okay, it's okay. That is Alex, and all the views that you've given are not the views of Mutebei TV, neither they the views of Freak 24 Leo TV, but they are his personal views, and whatever you've said here, you've said it at a personal level, and he is responsible for it. I can see Goodyear is laughing. I don't know what is laughable. Goodyear, Danny Boy is also following. I can also see Dan Boy, Felix Makush, Kingetich, Adeba Kasim, Chris Tivos, Karibu Sana, and Agustin Mwalimu is also following all the way from Nairobi. I know Agustin and I shares the same constituency. So Mwalimu, Karibu Sana, Gladys Wanga out. Or why do we keep talking about broad-based instead of thinking of our next normal government? I don't think Ruto is thinking about broad-based. Ruto is playing a smart game. What do you mean, Goodyear? Ruto is playing a smart game. Of course, we discussed here yesterday that as far as the politics is concerned, the kind of politics that William Ruto is playing is miles ahead of his opponents, and it's likely that he might not have that close competition. We might not have the two horse race. Of course, Alex have made our day. I like Alex because he's always candid and generous with the truth. He doesn't just speak for the sake of speaking. I can also see Caro Nandia Toms is also watching. Caro, I hope you're doing well. I don't know where you're joining from. Are you joining from Kisumu or Ugenya Dala? Karibu sana. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this was our 60 minutes wrap, and we've done 5 minutes past. The conversation was so interesting. Earlier on, we had Brother Benson and Alex. Alex, I know once you're done, we are going to meet on tomorrow's show, or you will join the next show that is going to start in the next hour, that is going to be hosted by one and only our own Mzalendo. Those things that we don't manage to discuss here, they are going to tackle them. So if you are viewing or watching us for the first time, ensure that you subscribe on our channels. Of course, we are live in Mutebei TV, Leo TV, and Afrique 24 Hour. So you can subscribe on our YouTube channels. Also subscribe and like the X or the formerly Twitter. We're also live on Facebook pages. So until tomorrow, we meet at the same time, same place, where we discuss and interact with what is happening in the political landscape within Kenya. For now, I want to say goodbye. Tuweze kuonana kesho. Good year. Tuonane kesho. You did contact me about the jersey. Ensure you contact me. Wait for Mzalendo. I think he'll be here in the next 1 hour with the diaspora show, and the show will have to run till morning time. That is the East African time. But for hours, we have to close it at now. For the people who managed to join us, Dan Boy, Felix Bakush, King Netish, Adeba Kasim, Chris, Jackson, Honorable Kiru Wilson, Eugene S. of Wete, Agustin, Caro, Nandia, Brother Ben, nasema asante sana na tuweze kukutana mahali hapa kesho. Pia ni siku majaliwa, muwe na usiku mwema, na kwa wale ambao wanaamka, tafadhali muwe na siku njema.